All right, let's talk about the one tech buzzword you literally can't escape right now: generative AI. You've seen the mind-bending art. You've probably read articles written by it. But how does a machine actually create something totally new, completely from scratch? Well, today, we're going to peel back the layers and find out.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll nail down what generative AI even is. Then we'll get into the really cool part: how it learns. After that, we'll meet the different types of AI models out there. We'll look at what they can actually create, and finally, we'll tackle the big questions about the challenges and what's coming next.
Okay, so first things first. Let's get straight to the heart of it. What are we really talking about when we use the term generative AI? The most important word here, the one to really latch onto, is generative. Think about it like this. A search engine is amazing, but all it does is find information that already exists. A generative AI is more like a painter or a musician. It creates brand new stuff that has never existed before. It does this by studying just massive amounts of data, learning the deep down patterns, and then using that knowledge to make something completely original.
So, if it's not just finding and copying things, how in the world does a machine learn to be creative? I mean, really, it's not magic, right? No, it's actually a pretty amazing and powerful cycle of learning.
It's this constant loop of getting better and better. So it starts by just gorging itself on a huge data set, let's say millions of pictures of cats. The AI then boils all of that down into a kind of abstract idea of catness. It's a concept, not a copy. Then it tries to make a new cat from that concept. But the big question is it any good? That's where the loss function comes in. Think of it like a really tough art critic that gives the AI a score on how far its creation is from a real cat. The AI has one single obsession: make that score as low as possible. So it just keeps trying, getting feedback and tweaking its approach over and over until it can generate a perfect, totally new cat all by itself.
Now, that whole learning process, it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. It's really important to get that generative AI isn't just one thing. It's more like a whole family of different models, and each one has its own special creative talent.
So, let's meet the cast of characters. You've got GANs, which are the absolute masters of creating realistic stuff. Then there are VAEs, which are kind of like the innovators, really good at coming up with new variations on a theme. Autoregressive models, they're the storytellers, building text one word at a time. This is the magic behind a lot of the chatbots you see. And finally, diffusion models. Oh man, these are the super detailed artists, responsible for those jaw-droppingly high-quality images we see everywhere now. Each one is a different tool for a different job.
Let's just zoom in on GANs for a second, because the idea here is just brilliant. It's basically a high-stakes duel happening inside the computer. You have one network, the generator, acting like an art forger, trying its absolute best to create a fake that looks perfectly real, and on the other side you have the discriminator, playing the role of a detective, trying to spot the fake. The forger's only goal is to fool the detective, and this constant competition, this cat-and-mouse game, forces them both to get smarter and smarter, which is how you end up with unbelievably realistic results.
So that's the theory, the how it all works. But what about the what? What happens when you unleash these models on the real world? Well, we're in the middle of a creative explosion, and it's already happening.
And you can see right here, this is not a one-trick pony. Image and text generation are the big kahunas right now, for sure, taking up a huge chunk of the pie. But look, it's already digging deep into creating music, audio, and even those super complex 3D models you need for video games and product design.
Yeah, and this idea of human-like text is a total game changer. What it really means is we now have a tool that can be a creative partner. It can help a writer smash through writer's block. It can draft the first version of a report, or just be a brainstorming buddy that never gets tired.
And you know, it's so easy to just think about this for art and writing, but the impact is so much bigger. We're talking about the same core tech being used to speed up the discovery of new medicines in healthcare, to spot really complex fraud patterns that a human might miss, and to help engineers design better products. It's a fundamental problem-solving engine, not just a paintbrush.
But okay, let's be real. A tool this powerful is not without some serious risks. So for this last part, we need to look at the challenges we have to navigate and what's coming down the pike.
And this really lays out the two sides of the coin, doesn't it? The potential is just massive, boosting our own creativity, speeding up science, but there are some serious hurdles. Because these models learn from the world as it is, they can pick up our biases and spit them right back out. They also take a wild amount of computing power. And of course, as they get better, we have to deal with the risk of things like deepfakes and misinformation. These are tough problems the whole field is wrestling with right now.
And things are moving so fast. Right now, development is getting supercharged by more powerful hardware. But looking just around the corner, the big push is for something called explainable AI, or XAI. That's all about making these models less of a black box so we can actually trust their decisions. And in the long run, we're talking about a profound shift that will likely transform entire industries and the very nature of how we work and create.
And that brings us to the big question, the one we're all going to be grappling with for a long time. As AI gets better and better at the art of creation, what does that mean for us, for our own human creativity? Is it a partner, a competitor, or is it something else entirely? The answer to that is still being written,